Guys, what's going on? Welcome to Serial at Midnight. My name is Heath, and I am joined by projectionist Rob from the Movie Vault YouTube channel for a really awesome discussion that digs into our music collection. So thanks for being here, Rob. What's going on?
Yeah, not much. Thanks for having me. Really looking forward to doing this video. Should be a good one.
So you came to me with a killer idea because we both love music, but I think with our YouTube channels, we don't really get enough chance to talk about the music stuff that we love. And do you want to pitch it's six items from our collection. Kind of guide us through what this is.
Yeah, sure. So I had been watching your 15,000 subscriber video. Congrats on that, by the way.
Thank
Great
you,
stuff.
thank you.
Yeah, I just kind of noticed you had mentioned something about you kind of somebody had asked a question like, do you go through phases of being into movies and music and games and books and stuff like that? And you had said you were really into music, and I had kind of wanted to do a music collection video on my channel, and I just kind of have a bunch of stuff, like 4K, Blu-ray, DVD, Laserdisc, VHS, CDs, tape, vinyl, you name it. You know yourself, you have it all as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just kind of thought I would throw you an email and see if we could come up with one item from each category and give some people some recommendations. And hopefully there's a couple of tie-ins to some movie stuff so people won't kind of feel left out if they're just into the movie stuff.
So we've got cassette tape, CD, vinyl album, like a record.
Yeah,
We've got VHS, DVD, and I've got Blu-ray. I didn't do
yeah.
4K. Was I supposed to do 4K as well?
No, I do have 4K stuff, but I don't have
Okay.
any music related 4K, so
Okay.
that's kind of why we're leaving that out for this one.
Okay, sounds good. So you want to where do we start? What do we start with? Where do we begin?
I'll leave it up to you. I have one pile
Oh,
of stuff here, and I have a couple of notes. So hopefully I can hit some people with some facts, but probably not because it's just from Wikipedia.
okay. I ooh,
I'll
I
match
get
up whatever you go with. I'll do my one of that.
let's start with VHS. How about that? Or like,
Okay,
a
cool. Yeah, yeah.
okay, so and by the way, I tried to pick some things from my collection that aren't super common or I didn't want to be like, well, this is Jailhouse Rock with Elvis. I tried to go deeper than that. So on that note,
Yeah.
uh this VHS, this is Simply Mad About the Mouse. This is a compilation of Disney songs performed by today's leading artists. So
Oh my God.
we've got Billy Joel singing When You Wish Upon a Star, Rick Ocasek, rest in peace, from the Cars, singing Zippity Doo Dah, LL Cool J, Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf, the Gypsy Kings, I've Got No Strings from Pinocchio, Harry Connick Jr., the very sultry.
Oh my.
Bree's a big fan of Harry Connick Jr. The Bare Necessities, Bobby McFerrin, the Siamese Cat song, Soul to Soul. I can't say that I even remember who Soul to Soul is outside of this, but they did Kiss the Girl from from Little Mermaid. And here's the piece de resistance, man. Michael Bolton
Oh my
singing
God.
"A Dream Is a Wish Your Heart Makes." So I picked this up at a thrift store. I don't even know when, but it's kind of one of those gems because I don't think this made it to DVD. It might have, but I don't think
I
it
was just
did.
gonna say that's definitely something we need to pick up for the
Yeah.
collection.
So yeah, so this is my VHS. This is my music VHS pick. What about you?
Wow. Well, I've kind of gone. I have the DVD of this as well, so I have it here. I thought I would throw it up. U2, Zoo TV.
Nice.
Yeah, just live from Sydney. This one, and I have the DVD of it as well. I'll show you a look there. Um, just a couple of kind of notes I made about this one. So shot in '93, of course, in Sydney, Australia, released in '94. This, weirdly enough, won the Grammy for Best Long Form Music Video in 1994. Absolute news to me. Of course, being from Ireland, kind of big U2 fan over here. Do you know what was kind of weird about this as well? I kind of found through looking into this then. So U2 actually played two nights in a row for this. So the first night was kind of a rehearsal for filming what actually turned out to be this VHS. So Adam Clayton, the bass player, was too hungover to play the night before as the rehearsal, and it's the one and only time U2 have played without the four members. And apparently, like years later, Bono was like, he was like, I thought this was the end of the band, man. This was over. Adam was too hungover, didn't turn up, game over. But he turned up the next night, and that's what this video is. And I thought I would give, if people haven't seen this, check it out. There is, as I mentioned, the Blu-ray or the DVD is available. I'm not too sure if it's on Blu-ray actually. I got this years ago. As I said, big U2 fan since I was a kid. So I think I got this one Christmas off my mom and dad. But this is it's crazy. This was a 22-month world tour, 157 concerts, 5.3 million tickets sold. There's a couple of tracks. I thought I would kind of before we done this video, I kind of said to you maybe we'll mention a couple of tracks to recommend to people. It might be kind of a good intro before you kind of go ahead and pick it up, or check out the full thing. I'm going to give you 3 tracks off this. The Fly, it's my favorite YouTube song. If you're familiar with this, the set's really cool with all these video screens and the kind of isn't it the front of that old German car? I don't know what the make of the car is, kind of hanging in the set, and this was like, this was state of the art for back in '93. This sort of stage setup and stuff. But you get all these words kind of flashing on screen, graphics overlaid and stuff. I thought it's really cool. 2 other tracks. Until the End of the World is a good one. I'd recommend that. And New Year's Day, I remember seeing this for the first time, and Edge does the double. He plays the guitar and he plays the piano in the song. And I was just like mind blown, like he could do all this at once. So that's my VHS pick. U2 Zoo TV from Sydney.
Edge is such an underrated guitar player, and or just a musician in general. I know that he's very self-deprecating because he just kind of does these licks and stuff. But the sounds that he's able to get with his setup and his rig and what he just like. I actually have a DVD. I could have, maybe it'll show up in a sequel video to this, but it's the making of the Joshua Tree, I think it is. And
cool.
he's just like, he's like, well, I took this and it's like ding a ding, and he's like, but then I add this reverb and then I turn this like it's like ding a ding a ding. And then it's like ding a 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 ding, and it's like, oh my gosh, just the way he takes.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's these few notes and he just builds it into this like symphony with his guitar. Yeah, that's amazing. So
because I had picked out a documentary, a DVD documentary that I decided to leave out. As you said, maybe we'll throw it in the second one. He's part of that, but I'm not going to. I won't give it away yet.
Okay, cool. It
kind of has something similar to what you're saying. It's kind of him and his, U2's recording studio here in Dublin, and he's kind of going through the parts. And as you said, he's super. He wants it perfect, and he can't get it, and he's getting so frustrated and. Like he's just twiddling knobs and adding all these effects, and then it's just like, oh, there it is.
So have you seen Rattle and Hum? Are you familiar with the movie Rattle and Hum?
Yeah, I actually I had picked it out as one of the. I kind of had a bunch of picks as we sort of talked before about the video, and then I kind of had to whittle everything down to kind of what do I want to talk about in the video. So it was in the original list,
gotcha.
And I did look at that, but yeah, that's a cool one. And if anybody's looking, I would mention a track off that one, Exit. I really like that track off Rattle and Hum if you want to check that out.
There's a scene in that documentary movie, that concert, whatever that is, that film, where Bono, it's black and white footage. They're performing, it's outside, and there's steam coming off of Bono's head. And it's like the most rock and roll thing in the world.
Isn't it crazy?
Okay. So let's go, I guess, DVD next. That seems like the next logical step. So
yeah, sure.
I have this documentary called I Trust You to Kill Me, and this is in the I think it's 2006. 2006. So there was this band called Rocco DeLuca and the Burden. I think I'm pronouncing it right. And they hired Kiefer Sutherland to be their promotional tour manager and like basically their manager. And so this is the document of the tour itself that it's like I think it's a US and a England. I think they go to England in Europe as well. And it's kind of so here's the thing. This came out, it's filmed in 2006. The band broke up in 2009. Rocco DeLuca is still around. The music is okay, but for me, like, it's fine. I'm not like, that's not my connection with this, but it's just so interesting to see. It's like Kiefer Sutherland, like we all hear the stories about bad boy Kiefer Sutherland, and that's who's in here, because it's like they're in Europe. He's unchained. He's not, he's not worried about paparazzi. There's a scene where he like tackles a Christmas tree inside of a hotel. There's like a Christmas tree fully decorated. He just like runs through the door, dives on the Christmas tree, excessive drinking. It's just really interesting to see. Just you're on the road with the band for this documentary tour, and I love Kiefer Sutherland, all the way back to like, the Lost Boys and stuff.
Sure,
and so that's the selling point for me, is we get to see Kiefer Sutherland kind of in his natural element. Now, given that it's a documentary, some of it may be turned up a little bit for the cameras, but it kind of feels authentic. So. And they've got Kiefer Sutherland right there front and center. He's not even in the band. He's the star of the documentary. So this is one of those little obscurities. Not a whole lot of people have seen it, much less heard of. I don't think the band even. I don't know that they really broke through. I think they're kind of still very indie. Rocco DeLuca is still around, but I don't think that's. they never had any major success, is I guess what I'm saying. But this kind of is the pinnacle of what they were in 2006. So that's my
Yeah.
DVD pick.
Cool. That sounds super interesting. I'm gonna have to look that one up. Hopefully, it's
Awesome.
not out of print.
It might
We'll
be
get
on
it
YouTube,
somewhere.
to be honest with you, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Cool.
check real quick. Let me see while you're talking.
Yeah. So my DVD pick is Depeche Mode Devotional, a performance film by Anton Corbijn, to give it its full name. Big Depeche Mode fan since I was a kid. My older cousin was into all that sort of stuff, 80s synth pop kind of Erasure, Pet Shop Boys, Depeche Mode, all that sort of thing. So this one, DVD, shot in '93, European stuff, Barcelona, Frankfurt, those concerts. Again, this same as U2, this was nominated for the '95 Grammy for the best long form music video. So the tour was for the Songs of Faith and Devotion album. That's like one of my favorite Depeche Mode albums. Really, really loved that one. Once again, kind of as a tie into U2, the tour was kind of like, had its issues. Dave, the lead singer, was like a heroin addict and, was completely unhinged apparently during this tour. Who else? Alan Wilder left the band right after the tour. He was just kind of enough's enough. I'm out here. And Fletch had been suffering from depression. He kind of left for the South African part of the tour. Again, like U2, 14-month tour, 158 concerts, 2 million tickets sold. Absolutely crazy. Two tracks I would recommend off of this is Higher Love. It's the opener. It's kind of when the first time I saw this, I thought I actually saw it on TV on a channel over here called Channel 4, a UK channel. It's kind of really, when you look at it, it's really simply done. It's kind of like there's curtains hanging in front of the stage, and the band is lit up from behind by spotlights. So you kind of see, Dave has the mic stand and somebody standing at a keyboard and stuff like that. But I thought it was really, really cool, really effective opener, and one of my favorite openers from the Depeche Mode shows. So I'd recommend that. Higher Love is the name of that track. Condemnation is a really, if you know the backstory to the thing, as I said, he was like a heroin addict, and recording the album and stuff was pretty hard, and apparently he just wasn't getting it in the recording studio. Gave it one last try, and it sounds fantastic. It's kind of like a cool stripped down kind of version with two kind of like bluesy soul singers backing him up on vocals. Really, really cool. So I'd mention those two tracks if people want to check this out. I'm not too sure if it's out of print or not, this one, but I'd say you'll find it somewhere.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. All right, well, I guess we move on to Blu-ray.
Yeah.
The Tammy Show and the TNT Show. Now, this is, everybody knows I'm a big 60s music guy. I've got my Brian Wilson Pet Sounds shirt on. This is from Shout Factory in the US. Hopefully this has distribution outside of the US. I'm not sure, but the Tammy Show, it's TAMI. I can't even remember what Tammy stands for, which I shouldn't even be talking about it if I can't remember what it stands for. But it's like the Teen something Music International, Teen Awards Music, something like that. But
cool.
The point is, 8 months after the Beatles on Ed Sullivan's show, when like we call it the British invasion, when it was like all these British bands came to America and just like laid waste to the music, and it was like, just became like the biggest thing ever. 8 months after that, the Tammy Show comes on, and it's basically it's marketed as like the introduction of rock and roll to the masses after the Beatles. So it's got I'm just going to read some of the acts to you. Between the two shows, the TNT Show was the sequel. It was like, so Tammy Show was 1964. The TNT Show, the big TNT Show, was 1966. And the Rolling Stones, like Generation 1 Rolling Stones, when it was Brian Jones and that sort of thing. James Brown, Chuck Berry, the Beach Boys, Marvin Gaye, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, Bo Diddley, the Supremes, Ike and Tina Turner, the Ronettes, the Byrds, Ray Charles, and it says, and many more. It's an amazing show. Everybody's actually playing. It's not lip syncing. So they're changing out the sets and stuff. And the director John Landis was a kid in the audience that day when the show debuted. Terry Garr, the actress Terry Garr, was like I think she's there too, and then she would go on to like all these backup dancing jobs and stuff. Like it's just really interesting. There's a lot of Hollywood connections to this show. It's a very famous show. It's kind of become it was a big deal, and it's really cool to have both of these on Blu-ray, and they look great. They sound fantastic, and it's just so cool to see these artists in their element in the early 60s. Not, so many shows, I don't know about in your part of the world, but here, so many performers would like mime, they would like lip sync, you know.
Yeah, we
Um,
Top of the Pops would be the thing. Well,
okay,
the UK show Top of the Pops. Yeah,
but like the old Grey Whistle Test was
yeah.
performance, right? They would actually perform, I think.
As far as I know, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So, I love this. This is like this is my heart. This is my soul music.
yeah.
So I can't recommend any specific tracks, but of Beach Boys, Rolling Stones, and Chuck Berry are probably the
Yeah, cool.
standouts for me.
That's a who's who list on that DVD
Yeah.
or on that Blu-ray. Yeah, that's pretty cool. My Blu-ray is like a tie into movies, so horror fans should like this. This is the John Carpenter live retrospective Blu-ray.
Oh.
John Carpenter is the master, as far as I'm concerned. Love all of his stuff. This has kind of like weird distribution. I think you can only get this through his website. I bought this not Christmas Gone, the Christmas before. And he has kind of a cassette tape box set, and I bought like a signed copy of that as well, which is really cool. But this was kind of shot around 2016, I think. It's one complaint I have: it was shot between Chicago and London. This Blu-ray, who edited this thing? Because I can in the middle of tracks, you kind of notice they've edited the songs between the two venues because they look completely different, of course. But then it kind of gets to the point where you're this could just be me. I find these little things, and then once you kind of see something, you can't unsee it. It's the guitar player Daniel Davies. He's in the middle of some song, cuts to a wide shot on the stage, comes back, completely different guitar, different country, different show. And it just, I don't know, they've cameras and they're like reversing the cameras, like left is right and right is left. And it's just bad. But this, I saw this and I thought it was really cool because it completely, I think, gives new life to all of these songs. Of course, John Carpenter famous for doing his own scores and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the stuff just sounds like completely new when they're played live. Really fantastic. John Carpenter is hilarious because he's bopping away and stuff. He's just standing behind his keyboard. It's really kind of funny to see, But really, really cool. They do for the They Live track, they get the black sunglasses. They all put them on, the band. Anybody who's into horror, his live band includes his son, Cody Carpenter, and as I mentioned, Daniel Davies, guitarist. The three of them done the recent Halloween score, 2018, that movie. So you'll know them from them, and I don't know the name of the other three guys in the band, but that was, other than my complaint of not being able to unsee those edits. It's really, really cool. I can't mention any particular track. There's Escape from New York, Assault on Precinct 13, Big Trouble in Little China, Halloween Night is a really cool track I like off his one of his Lost Teams albums. But and pretty much the thing, all his movies are in here.
Did they do the fog on that concert?
They do the fog, and interestingly enough, they have some fog come onto the stage. Really, really cool. Yeah.
Production value. I have that album. I have the he put an album out. I have the album, but I didn't know that there was a visual document. I'm gonna have to look that up because that's
and it kind of seems, weirdly enough, as I said, the Blu-ray release was shot Chicago and London, but when it kind of gets to the end of the concert, and they all kind of come out to do their bow on the stage, they kind of have a nice shot from the back of the stage looking out at the crowd. But it kind of shows you each city. Like, he was here in Dublin, and I didn't get to see him at the time. But it kind of seems to me that they must have shot some amount of footage in each kind of tour location. But they could have, old school Pearl Jam years ago used to do those live bootlegs. They could have put out a bunch of DVDs for different cities, but I guess that would cost them too much money. But other than that, can't unsee that thing. That drives me mad every time I rewatch this. But the tracks are really, really cool live.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I'm going to go with cassette tape now.
Sure.
I got to admit, this is kind of for the novelty of it, but I thought it would be fun and we could get some conversation out of it. I have the Rhinestone movie soundtrack on cassette. Sylvester Stallone and Dolly Parton. If you've ever wanted to see Sylvester Stallone sing, and let's put sing in air quotes, because it's not so much singing as he's just like, and he's not really on key or anything. He's just kind of just yelling a little bit. But it's a wacky movie. I think that the appeal of this movie is just how big and bonkers it is. It's high camp, and I love that sort of thing. So when I saw this soundtrack on cassette, I was like, man, I got to have this thing. The standout track here, if you go to YouTube, you can watch "Stay Out of My Bedroom" on it's an excerpt from the movie. But he's there, Dolly's there, and it's exactly, he's got the big rhinestone jacket on, and he's just like, oh, can't understand a word he's saying, like, but
Yeah.
it's who cares, right? Because it's Sylvester Stallone. Like this was arguably what year is this? I'm not even sure what year this is. Let's see. It's 80s, 80. Hold on, 84. Okay, so we're talking about peak like First Blood part. Oh man. Well, I think First Blood Part 2 is 85. So he goes
Mm.
from Rhinestone to First Blood Part 2.
First one.
It's just like the man it could do no wrong. And like people would
Yeah.
just watch him do anything. So I don't know. I had to point this out and just share this with
Oh
you.
my god.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, patiently awaiting that Sly solo album.
And so we got Frank Stallone. His brother is
Yeah.
like he kind of I don't know if he had anything to do with Frank Stallone's success again with the air quotes. But it's interesting. Like the music, they're a musical family, I guess, and he wanted in on that.
Yeah. You couldn't let Frank get one over on
That's right.
him. Cool. My tape cassette choice is something from when I was a kid. Batman. As you can see, the poster I have framed behind me. Batman 1989 Prince cassette tape, pretty cool. I don't know that it originally came in this red box, but that's what I have it in now. I love Batman, big into Batman since I was a kid. And this is one of the first films I kind of remember going to see in the cinema with my dad when I was a kid. And on the way home, I got the Batman cap and the Batwing toy and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, the even the kind of insert there with this is really, really cool. It might be hard to see, but there's all these fantastic pictures of Prince and Kim Basinger and Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton and stuff in there. And all your tracks inside. I stupidly wrote my name when I was a kid in green pen in there, in case somebody was going to randomly steal my Batman cassette tape.
They might have. You never
But
know.
they could
It
have,
was a
yeah,
hot
yeah.
commodity in 1989.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess probably just a couple of notes that I made on this one. Probably Prince at the height of his popularity, like kind of late 80s. I guess he kind of took off earlier in the 80s. I was born in 83, so I wasn't overly like familiar with Prince until I kind of got into the DJing stuff when I was doing that. But recorded and mixed at Paisley Park Studios. That's Prince's his place. As I said, this was kind of my in to getting into Prince. I was kind of like, what's like Little Red Corvette and all this? No, bat dance. I want bat dance, man. You know. And then it kind of, that would have been my favorite song as a kid to kind of give it a mention of a couple of tracks. But now, as I got older, the future, the very first track off this I thought is really fantastic, and Trust is another one. I think is the scene where Joker Jack Nicholson is throwing all the money off the kind of parade float stuff.
Who do you
And
trust? Hubba hubba hubba. Who do you trust?
yeah, exactly, fantastic stuff. And as I said, big Batman fan. I have a massive tattoo of Jack Nicholson as Joker on
Wow.
my left leg. Yeah, I'm not gonna embarrass everyone and like throw my leg up here onto this video, but yeah, really, really cool stuff. And as you said, this was kind of just a fun throw in for the cassette tape choice.
Wonderful. Okay, tell me where we should go from here. I feel like so we have a CD and we have vinyl, and I think
Yeah.
my vinyl is cooler, but that kind of like, should we go vinyl next or should we do CD next and then end with vinyl? What do you think?
I think we'll end with vinyl. That's what I was kind of like thought
Okay.
that's where you were going to go for. So yeah,
Okay.
that sounds
Okay. Well,
cool.
this is then this is I, well, okay. So it's this album of Elvis, the '68 comeback special. So
Oh, cool.
last year was they celebrated it last year. I realized that we're recording this video in 2020 to date it forever, so that people who see
Yeah.
this 5 years from now will be like, oh, this is old. I can't watch this. But they did a 50th anniversary special in 2019, which is whatever. It was like late 2019 too, and it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. It was like all these
Mhm.
modern recording artists, like country. There's Blake Shelton, who I'll stop. But it was a modern recording artist singing Elvis songs in the style of the '68 comeback special, and I don't think it worked. It was kind of embarrassing. It
Yeah.
kind of just showed how special what Elvis, like that charisma, like it really just highlighted like, hey, there was only one Elvis, and you can't just replicate it by singing his songs. But
Yeah.
um, but see, I can be kind of negative about some of this stuff, and then other people like Bree would say, well, but people who haven't seen the '68 comeback special now are aware of it, and they may want to go check it out. So it did that; it raised
Yeah.
awareness for this thing. So that serves a purpose. But as a tie-in for this, they released this huge box set of the complete '68 comeback special. Recording sessions, like the filming sessions, and it's like many discs, and it was out of my price range, so I did not have that. It even had a Blu-ray of the 68 Comeback Special on it. And the DVD, the old school DVD of the 68 Comeback Special is not in print, at least in the US. It's not in print anymore. I think you can buy it at Graceland, but
Yeah.
I'm not at Graceland. So this was issued, it was a Walmart exclusive here in the United States. And it's on one disc, it's the CD one is the original 68 Comeback Special plus. So it's got the original album, which I have on vinyl, but it's also got added songs that did not make the original version of the vinyl album. And then it's got a song. The last song is "If I Can Dream" with Blake Shelton, Shawn Mendes, Darius Rucker. It's Carrie Underwood. No, no,
Yeah. A whole mess of new people.
yeah, but here's the thing. Disc 2 is the entire 68 Comeback Special on DVD. So you get the album on CD, and then you get the DVD of the show. And for now, for a lot of people, unless you want to spend like $150 or actually more, I think this is the only way to get the 68 Comeback Special on DVD now. So this was like $13. And I don't know if it's still in print, but I love this because I have the 68 Comeback Special on VHS, but I never got the DVD. My parents have the DVD. I figure one day that'll be mine. They'll just be like, yeah, you can have it. But I didn't have it, so now I have the DVD, and until I can get that box set, this is gonna have to do me.
Yeah.
Standout tracks from the 68, just for people, I would say, let's see, there's a montage that he does. I don't see it on here, but let's see, vamp. I don't know. He does all his hits. He does the original hits, and then I would say he ends with "If I Can Dream," which they don't even have. I'm looking. They don't even have his original "If I Can Dream" on here. They've got the. I'm not going to recommend any songs for this. I'm just going to recommend the whole 68 Comeback Special.
Yeah, the whole thing. There's a pretty cool cover on that as well. That looks really cool.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So that fizzled, but I'm going to pass it off to you. What do you have?
Okay, cool. Well, my CD, I kind of had to cheat a little bit on this. As we were talking before we were rolling here, space is like a valuable commodity these days. So I kind of imported all my CDs into that software. We're not going to name the software, but and I boxed up all my CDs and they're in the attic. So I don't actually have the CD, but I have the Blu-ray. So I'm going to show that real cheekily and quickly. I just got super into this once I saw the film. The Devil's Rejects soundtrack, I think, is fantastic. I listen to this all the time here in the shop in work. A lot of 70s stuff, I believe, is on there. I think, and I kind of find with Rob Zombie in terms of his movies, there's not a lot of on the fence. You either like his stuff or you don't. I really find that with people with his movies. I think his soundtracks are pretty cool. I think I don't know if he picks the stuff himself or somebody else kind of deals with that. I think he's involved.
I bet he does.
Yeah. But there's some really, really great stuff on this. It opens up with Allman Brothers Band, Midnight Rider, fantastic song. Three Dog Night, Shambhala's in there as well. There's a couple of Terry Reid tracks on this soundtrack that I never even knew who he was, and I'm going through his stuff recently. So so Joe Walsh is on there, Rocky Mountain Way. There's a bunch of stuff. Again, I can't recommend anything in particular. I like the whole album. I think it's a nice collection of stuff. There's like some country kind of vibe stuff in there as well. Yeah. So it's a really nice mixture of stuff, I think.
I think that The Devil's Rejects is probably the most purest form of his personality that we've seen on screen. I think that really captures his essence of who he actually is.
Yeah.
Outside of the image, the character, I think that's probably close to who he is. A lot of 70s country, a lot of Allman Brothers kind of stuff. I think that's a big part of his origin story, I think.
Yeah, his thing. And weirdly enough, I'm not into his music at all. I wouldn't listen to it. Was his band White Zombie or something before he kind of went on his
he just made so many people mad.
Oh my god, like dislike, unsubscribe. Oh my god. And I mean, my into kind of Rob Zombie was, I know you're kind of into wrestling too, so I watched the wrestling since I was a kid all the way up to, I try and keep up with it now, but he done a couple of, didn't he do like an entrance song for Edge at some point in there, or
I
White
don't
Zombie
know.
did?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's on one of those WWF albums, I think, that
Okay.
I have CDs somewhere. I kind of, again, I have a bunch of CDs down here, and I was kind
Uh,
of like, do I want to throw in some random wrestling CD? Oh, I don't know. So I just kind of went with, as I said, I really like that album, and I listened to it an awful lot. So I
that's
thought I
cool.
would throw that out there. Some people might like some stuff off of it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So here we go. Here's the end. This is the culmination.
Drum roll.
So, I'll show you the album in a second, but it's the
Yeah.
soundtrack to the film Streets of Fire, on vinyl. And now this is
Strassen
my
the
German
Flamen.
Blu-ray. Strassen in Flammen.
Ooh.
You can't say this gently. You can't be like it's Strassen in Flammen. You have to be like
Yeah.
Strassen in Flammen. The Shout Factory eventually, it was either Shout or Scream, one of their labels, released this
Yeah.
in the United States. But I imported this years ago from Germany because it was the only, because I wanted the movie. But this is for those who have not seen Streets of Fire, it is an incredible 80s movie, 1984, and it's a rock opera basic. It's like a comic book rock opera that's not based on a comic book. And the idea is like, so it's a very young Diane Lane. I don't know if you guys can see her
Oh,
there, but
cool.
it's a
Yeah.
very young Diane Lane. She sings she's like the singer of this rock band, and she gets kidnapped. And it's a video game plot. Like I think video games base themselves on I actually read that not Streets of Rage. Maybe it was Streets of Rage. Final Fight. That these different video games kind of stole the idea of Streets of Fire. That like we got to go save the girlfriend, and it's got Willem Dafoe in it. It's got uh so many people, but the soundtrack itself it's amazing. Ry Cooder, the recording artist Ry Cooder, does most of the songs, but there's two like big rock opera songs from I believe the guy's name is Jim Steinman, who was the composer of a bunch of Meatloaf songs. He produced "Bed Out of Hell" for
Oh,
Meatloaf,
cool.
and he I think he wrote most of those songs as well. But also Bonnie Tyler, like "Total Eclipse of the Heart," that's Jim Steinman, and the songs in this movie are like that. They're these huge, like tear your heart out of your chest with emotion songs. And
Nice.
there's two of them on here, so they're labeled as by Fire Inc. But that's the band from the movie. And for those who have not, one, you got to see the movie. Two, you've got to hear these songs because they're amazing. They are just so like they're powerful. You just like when they're at the end of the movie when everything is done, they have this huge musical number. And Diane Lane, she's like 18 years old, and she's just like she's like giving it everything she's got. And it's wonderful. It's absolutely stunning. So to have found this to have the soundtrack on vinyl is one of my prized possessions. I love this thing. And check out the art. Is that not the best art? What's
Yeah,
like
that looks fantastic.
it's
Yeah,
like straight
cover
out of a
alone, I'm
comic
sold.
book or something. Yeah. So that's
Nice.
mine. That's the end of my list.
Yeah, cool. I will hit you with like something I think you might like. 77. I kind of there's a weird kind of, or not weird, but there's a an interesting kind of backstory to how I got this. I think it was last year I kind of done an upgrade at home. The 4K TV and the 4K player and all that stuff.
Hmm.
And I had an old record player that just kind of had died, and I was like, you know what, I'll pick up a new one and I can start kind of buying some vinyl again. And I wanted to get this one for a while, and I kind of saw some weird kind of reissues, and I was kind of like, no, I don't. I'd like to get the original if I could. Now I don't know if I did get an original. You would probably be able to tell me more about this, but Fleetwood Mac Rumors,
Nice.
fantastic album.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got this off a seller on eBay in the UK. I wanted Rumors in particular was what I was looking for, but he had like four Fleetwood Mac albums for like €40, so like €10 each. I thought was a pretty good deal, including
Yeah.
shipping. I think Tusk, Tango in the Night, and can't remember what the fourth one was, but yeah, 10 each, and it's in fantastic shape. There's like literally nothing wrong with it. There's like one little mark on the cover.
Does it
Um,
have the original inner sleeve with the photos and everything on it?
yes, I'm gonna
Nice. There you go.
quickly whip this out. Yep, you have all that stuff.
There
It's
you
like
go.
a
Nice.
2-page thing and all the notes and
Yeah.
stuff inside. There
I
you
think
are.
that's an original. If it's the thing about that album is it sold millions of copies, so there are millions of them
Yeah,
around. So it
yeah, and
probably is original.
Yeah, there's just a lot of I see a lot of stuff online about they do the reissues for like Record Store Day and stuff, and I'm kind of like sometimes they mess with like sound mixes and stuff, and I don't
Absolutely.
want.
Yeah.
But there's the actual I don't know if that would mean anything. Yeah,
No, not just by looking at it, but
yeah, but yeah, fantastic stuff, and the kind of backstory to the recording of that album is legendary,
yeah.
cheating and backstabbing and all that
Yeah.
stuff going on. And this is pretty much where everyone fell in love with Stevie Nicks, right? It has to be.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, fantastic. And a couple of tracks, if anybody is not, I don't know how you would not know who Fleetwood Mac is. I've probably annoyed a bunch of other people there again. But The Chain is an absolute favorite Fleetwood Mac song. Check
Yeah.
that out. Go Your Own Way. And a kind of a different sort of vibe, I think, off of Rumors, the album. Never Going Back Again. I really like that song. It's kind of just kind of Lindsey Buckingham and the kind of acoustic guitar kind of
Hmm.
vibe to it instead of the kind of more rock stuff. But yeah, that was my vinyl pick, Fleetwood Mac Rumors.
Fantastic. I love that album. That's a fantastic album.
Yeah, really, really
Uh,
good.
so this, I feel like this is just a great jumping off point for future conversations. So we will definitely have to circle back around and do a follow-up video. But I would love to hear what people in the comments, like the viewers themselves, think about what are some of their favorite picks from their collections of music and CDs, records, DVDs, all that stuff. What's some of their favorite musical aspects of their collection? Rob, thanks so much for doing for this. One, thanks for the idea because this was a fantastic idea. We clearly both have a lot of passion for this stuff. So awesome, awesome idea.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks a million. As I said, it was just an idea I thought I'd throw out, and you really liked it. So thanks for having
Yeah,
me on. Really, really
I
cool.
love it. Absolutely. So, okay, so the Movie Vault YouTube channel. You want to tell people what's going on over there?
Yeah, sure. Just same as yourself. I have a pretty not as big as you guys probably movie collection. I've been collecting since like probably since I was a kid. But then when DVD kind of hit in '98, that's kind of where what I have now kind of started off. I've little bits of everything. Same as you. I review, get sent stuff to review. I buy stuff. I do little bits of everything every now and again. So I'm trying to at least post twice a week over there. Sometimes three, depends on yourself how busy you are outside of
Yeah.
YouTube. So yeah, there's at least one thing going up a week. So you might be interested in some reviews and stuff coming out. I am based in Ireland, so a lot of the review stuff I do is with UK release dates and UK
Yeah.
labels. But I do find a lot of the viewers that I have are from the States, which is kind of it's awkward and because I can't get stuff from the States to,
Right.
to
Yeah.
review or talk
Absolutely.
about. But yeah, there's everybody kind of comes and checks stuff out. So yeah, and of course, anybody watching on my channel, don't forget to head over to Serial at Midnight and give Heat a subscription over there.
Thank you very much. For people who are watching my channel, if you, I don't know if that it'll show up on the Skype video when we're done with it, but there's a projector. It's a 16 millimeter projector, right, over your shoulder.
There is well, this thing right here. This is a kind of a like what we would call a rewind bench. So
Okay.
when you get film in, it's on in the kind of six cans. We would get a
Yeah.
massive. You might be able to see of a proton Ghostbusters proton pack over here behind me. There is a massive like a 2,000 foot reel. So you basically stand and hand turn reel by reel. So say it would be a 6 reel film. So you'd put parts 1, 2, and 3 onto a big reel and then put them on if you're running a platter system. This is all like technical, probably over everybody's head. But yeah, I have a kind of film bench. If you follow me on Instagram, I have a kind of a separate Instagram because I work as a projectionist. At projectionist Rob is that one. I just take a bunch of pictures of trailers and stuff, just a bunch of
Hmm.
a whole mess of trailers over that
It's
you can't
super
see on the
cool. You
screen
post
here.
stuff like actual films, like you hold up the film.
You've
Yeah.
seen the stuff. Yeah, that I
Yeah.
do all take all those pictures here on the bench behind me, and yeah, I bought a 16 mm projector a while ago of a Super 8 projector, and actually recently people have been sending me stuff. I got sent some Super 8 film, and somebody who just found my other of a kind of a projection booth channel, and that's separate to the movie vault. Somebody found me there and just sent me a whole box of old 35mm trailers. There's like Batman Returns, Batman Forever, Jurassic Park, Dracula 92, Dracula with 93,
Amazing.
Dracula, Francis Ford Coppola. Yeah, there's some great. I haven't even gotten to go through all of it yet, but there's yeah. So I'm kept busy with 2 YouTube channels.
Well, my point of
No.
bringing that up, just for especially for my viewers, is that that is indicative of your skill, of your expertise. For so much of what we love, for so much of what we talked about here, film is the source, and you're connected to that source. And I think that that's very, very cool. So I just wanted to shout that out, that you are deep into this. You are connected to the film itself, and I think that that's awesome. So
Yeah, yeah, it's really cool. I say, there's not many projectionists left in the world these days. I mean, over here in Ireland, there's literally like six of us. There's only two cinemas that run film anymore, so it's really cool. And actually, last summer there's a really cool video on the other channel of me lacing up and running a 35mm print of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. We got that on 35mm. It was fantastic because it was the first time I actually ran a film print in like 8 years or something
oh
crazy
wow.
like that,
Yeah.
So it was really, really cool. We do some 70mm stuff as well every now and again. So yeah, whenever I get the chance to film those videos, I don't post as regularly over there just because we're not always doing stuff with film.
Right.
It's because it's digital these days. But yeah, the movie vault is kind of where everything's happening every week, and Up in the Booth is, if you're interested in projection stuff, you might check out that channel as well.
All right, fantastic. I think that's a great place to leave it for now. Thank you so much for joining me for this conversation. Thank all the viewers who are watching this. Again, continue that conversation in the comments below, both at Serial at Midnight and at the Movie Vault. Rob, thank you again. I appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks, Steve. Take care.
All right, guys, take care. And until next time, we will catch you later.